Ever wonder what a no-budget, no-talent version of Predator would look like? Well, wonder no more. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, and today we're tackling Bruno Mattei's shameless Predator ripoff, Robo-War. Released in 1988, Robo-War replaces the extraterrestrial killer with a dude in a motorcycle helmet and then tries to convince you that Reb Brown is a good substitute for Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is, in all honesty, a film that has to be seen to be believed. Brought to the screen by the unholy alliance of Bruno Mattei, Claudio Fragasso, and Rosella Drudi, this one has it all. Crib dialogue and plot points, aimless wandering, poor editing, and recycled locations and music. But can Robo-War hunt down a 5 barf bag rating? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, today's video is sponsored by patrons Logan, oh man, I loved you in Wolverine, Anthony Nix, and Robbie. A lot of single names today. I dig it. If you'd like to sponsor some videos and free me from the shackles of YouTube's tyranny, you'll find a link to my Patreon in the pinned comment and description below. And now, let's get bloody. The movie starts like every other self-respecting Italian ripoff, with a helicopter going somewhere. I mean, hey, at least it's not New York City. And these pilots seem pretty anxious. Great, someone got the credits jammed into our Fisher-Price My First Camera again. Franco Gadenzi presents. You know you're headed for a real cinematic treat now. And a shiny title card for a turn of a movie. I admire the optimism. We then cut away from our helicopter scene to join the same helicopter scene.
Mayday! Mayday! Black Eagle to base!
I like that this dude is screaming Mayday. It's clear the helicopter is sitting on the ground. Wait a minute, Clyde Anderson? They let Claudio Fragasso act in this movie? Oh boy, we might be in trouble. Story by Fragasso and Rosella Drudi. Oh yeah, we're screwed. Also, judging by this level of pixelization, I think someone set the Predator's resolution at 240i. Then it's back to the chopper for more acting.
Link-ups are not responding! Circuits are blowing one by one! We're drifting! Everything's out!
I will say, I admire Bruno's decision to film this movie with the Game Boy camera. It looks fantastic. And the credits are still rolling. Maybe Bruno was unaware that you could put some of these names at the end. Are they gonna shout out Craft Services next? Directed by Vincent Dawn, aka Bruno Mattei. How much stolen footage will he cram into this movie? Man, even the Predator thinks the credits are too long. So he shoots this chopper down. And now we begin the slideshow portion of our presentation. Here we see action Steve Martin, Faith era George Michael, Doobie Brother and yacht rock icon Michael McDonald, R&B legend El DeBarge, and off-cycle Haku. Man, I hope Haku doesn't kick my ass for that joke. And Reb Brown. All MST3K fans have a different nickname for him, but to me, he's Blast Hard Cheese.
We put our faith in Blast Hard Cheese.
Not gonna lie, this is the worst knockoff A-Team ever.
Bam. Bam. Big-ass motherfuckers.
Shouldn't that be badass? Most of these dudes we just saw aren't exactly huge.
Get to it and go get fucked like a nom.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. He means they were in special forces. Wait, Johnny Walker? Did Bruno and Fragasso drink all of the J&B?
What do you intend to do about Omega-1?
Just find him and neutralize him.
It looks like Omega-1 is the Predator in this movie. I guess Bruno's not really worried about creating a sense of suspense. But enough jibber-jabber. Let's get to the boat. Wait, the African Queen too? I'd watch that, especially if Fragasso and Drudi wrote it. And what are these elite soldiers up to? Smoking and partying, of course. All except for Reb Brown, who's wondering around what happened to his career after Captain America. Then we get some exposition.
Okay guys, now it's up to you. I'll see you here in exactly 3 days.
What if there's a delay?
Reb was basically phoning in his lines here since Bruno's check hadn't cleared yet. Then they disembark. Look, mock Reb all you want, but show me another star who would have agreed to that outfit.
So what's the mission?
Well, first mission is to get you a shirt that fits. I mean, really, Predator gave us Schwarzenegger, Robo-War gives us Reb Brown. Same, right? I wonder if Reb's gonna pull a Bill Duke and bleed Kmart Phil Collins quick and quiet and leave him there. Nah, he might get blood on that half shirt. Then Reb takes a moment to tell us his favorite track off Nasty Naz's classic album, Illmatic.
Life's a bitch, then you die.
Solid choice. I tend to go with It Ain't Hard to Tell, personally. They head out, and you know this is a Mattei Fragasso joint because we've got Fog Machine. They're traipsing through the jungle, and either the Predator has a GPS tracking system, or someone forgot to insert the FX sequence from After Effects. But Budget Mario Van Peebles is on the trail, He's like, hey, can you please turn off the soundtrack? We're trying to be stealthy. Turns out Italian Predator knockoff Billy here is just looking for some sleeves, and he thinks he's found some wiggling in this tall grass. Then this happens. Clearly, this dude is not an environmentalist. He hates trees. Also, how did they not get sued for this? Unfortunately, all this uncovered was a prop from Oasis of the Zombies. Oh my god, look at this prop gun. I've seen better AKs made out of Play-Doh. Budget George Michael, aka Massimo Vanni, returns to the film to warn our heroes about a sniper.
I saw a glint in the trees.
They've been pretty sneaky. I doubt they were spotted. I mean, aside from deforesting the jungle with a machine gun. How the hell has the sniper not noticed them? Dude must be watching a movie on an Oculus while listening to Ministry with noise-canceling headphones. Turns out there was no sniper. Someone just got freaked out by a squirrel. And now that the sniper is dead, they can go home, right? Maybe, but first they have to complete the rope climb portion of the president's physical fitness test. Damn it, all I found up here was a grappling hook and that terrible prop machine gun from earlier. And the fog machine is back. Fragasso has it on the Jack the Ripper in Whitechapel setting, apparently. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that the Alfesta butt rock on the soundtrack here is pretty amazing. And by amazing, I mean mostly terrible. There sure is a lot of aimless walking in this movie. Do you think Billy's just lost and too embarrassed to say? Reb, meanwhile, is like, keep your eyes peeled. We have to find an interesting scene sooner or later. Turns out they're being stalked. Man, this camera in Omega-1 is really giving him an unfair advantage. You can almost see things here. This is what it looked like when you tried to get Playboy Channel on your cable box without a subscription. And they're back where they started. Someone should take Billy's keys and let Michael McDonald lead the band for a while. Honestly, I've been to walkathons with less walking than this movie. As we enter our 6th hour of them walking through the woods, El DeBarge finally stumbles on some plot. At least he isn't giving away their position. They eventually get his foot out. Hopefully this means the plot can limp forward now. Now that we've got that excitement out of the way, let's get back to what Robo-War does best. Walking through the jungle. Eventually, he discovers more Oasis of the Zombies props. And if you guessed Budget Billy would rip off some Shane Black dialogue, give yourself a screenwriter's credit.
You look like an ambush. They shoot in all directions.
Man, what's got Billy spooked? Damn it, now I'm doing it.
Bastard!
Look, that was a pretty weak bastard. Show him how it's done, Linda Day George.
Bastard! Bastard!
But it's not a bastard he finds, it's Omega-1. Christ, just look at this thing. It's a dude in a motorcycle helmet. And he's got a better arm than every pitcher on the Pirates starting roster. What? No stick-around joke from Rosella Drudi? And now it's time for more walking. They must be getting closer to the fog machine factory. Fog? No fog. Continuity is hard.
Quite feels vibrations, and his balls begin to tingle and jingle.
This is no 5-meter spread, Dutch. Then, on today's episode of Narcos, it's the annual running of the drug mules. Leave it to Mattei and Fragasso to find a way to make Predator boring. Man, how'd they get Jason Momoa to be in this movie? But Reb's not gonna let anyone hurt this damsel in distress. Look at these elite killers. Screaming actually makes the bullets come out faster. Christ, they must have like 10 other guys off screen lugging all their ammo. And now it's down to Momoa and Beat Punch Meat. Who will win? I think it's obvious that we're the real winners here. And now Omega-1 showed up. God, is this movie finally gonna get interesting? Of course not. They're just gonna run through the jungle. Then we get a bad acting showdown.
There's no way that she can come along. She's dead weight.
Listen, asshole. I'm in command here.
Reb makes Schwarzenegger look like Olivier. And if you were hoping for more jungle walking, you're in luck. This literally goes on for like 3 minutes. But we do stop for this vitally important line of dialogue.
It's like collard green stew. If you get caught in it, you never get out of it, man.
I hear it makes Cambodia look like Kansas. And more hiking. Maybe they'll wander into a different movie where something happens. Eventually, they reach a village. Was this what they were looking for? I don't remember, but I bet they're gonna blow it up. And to start things off, Budget George Michael teaches this guard the meaning of freedom. Then Action Steve Martin shows him the old knife through the gut gag. It's like the arrow in the head, only more stabby. With the stealth portion of the mission over, it's time to get loud. And at least one mannequin was injured while making this movie. Press F to pay respects. Then this happens.
Don't move.
Was that supposed to be stick around? Come on, Rosella Drudi. Now that the action scene is over, it's time for our dudes to keep walking, right? I need more walking. Clearly, our leading lady graduated from the Linda Day George School of Acting. And don't look now, but here comes Manborg, or whatever the fuck this thing's name is. He's really just here to thin out the cast. Seems safe to say that Budget El DeBarge isn't going to be singing I Like It after this. Do you kids even remember I Like It? Christ, I'm old. Omega 1 attacks again. I see Massimo Vanni's ammo-wasting training is coming in handy. Maybe you should throw all your grenades in there, too. If some of this music sounds familiar, it's because Fragasso recycled it for Zombie 4. Vanni gives chase, but all he gets is blasted in the face.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean, he gets shot by Omega 1. I feel like Omega 1 is just Lance Legault and his killer biker getup from Nightmare Beach. Also, why does this thing sound like Twiki from that old Buck Rogers series? Now, Kung Fu Grip Steve Martin is on the trail. Do you think if it bleeds, they can kill it? In case you forgot this was a Bruno Mattei film, here is a scene wherein two of the characters very recently killed are once again alive. Say it with me. Continuity is hard. I will say, the walking through the jungle is a lot more exciting with this rockin' soundtrack. No, not really. What's the most amazing thing about this movie so far? The fact that Michael McDonald is still alive. You could say I keep forgetting he's in this movie. Action Steve spots Omega 1 and they're all going to shoot in his general direction again. Have you seen this before? Are you tired of it? Well, too bad. Watch those trees die. With no answers for what they're shooting at, Butch Deadlift decides to scare some intel out of Phil Collins. He should know by now that he's in too deep. Reb's about to cut some exposition out of him.
Tell me you invented that thing? Yes.
Turns out that Omega 1 was invented by this dude, but we already knew that. This means we spent about 50 minutes of movie waiting to hear something we already know. Thanks, Bruno. The next morning, the team continues their walk in a straight line across Wales challenge. Unfortunately, they're in the Philippines. The boys then come upon a very peaceful river that they've crossed. All except for Reb and Michael McDonald. If you think Michael's gonna make it across and Reb isn't, let me sing you a few bars of What a Fool Believes.
It's pulling me! It's pulling me away!
This might be the most pathetic death of all time.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ, it's pulling me harder! I'm right there!
Later that day, McDonald washes up on the shore looking like Zach Galifianakis. Football practice. Awake now, Mike runs into the jungle and finds a crew member? I swear the editor wasn't watching this when he cut it together. He also runs into Omega 1, who sounds like he's been set on the scat/bebop setting. Sweet, he's not only got crappy cameras, he also comes with his own fog machine. Clearly, Omega 1 is not a yacht rock fan. He's dragging Mike right off the stage. Meanwhile, it looks like this guy has a kill switch for Omega 1. Why didn't they increase the range of that thing and shut him off from the boat? I could have gotten 89 minutes of my life back. With nowhere to run, Reb and the rest of the team decide to set up camp, Survivor style. It looks good, but who's forming an alliance?
You're the crazy fuck that invented that thing out there!
Doesn't look like Reb and Phil are gonna team up. One of them's going to tribal council.
Technology doesn't have feelings.
That's not true. Siri quit talking to me after I called her a fucking idiot once. True story. Wow, it took 3 whole minutes for Action Steve and Crunch Buttsteak to find the kill switch. That's the first thing that's happened fast in this whole movie. But since the kill switch can only be used at very close range, there's still a lot of opportunity to pick off a few more soldiers. Omega 1 makes his move, and it was really nice of them to line up in salad bar formation. They're dug in like an Alabama tick, so Budget Phil Collins is going to sacrifice himself. This is a great strategy. Reason with it. Invite it to a ball game. Take him to dinner. Or let it burn you with its Nintendo Power Glove and drop the device. That'll work too. Do you think Phil now has 2 hearts, living in just one mind? Next on the Tribal Council block is Action Steve Martin. He's a wild and crazy guy. And he dies too. I feel like even Bruno is bored at this point and just racing for the finish line. Knowing there's still enough movie left to rip off Billy from Predator one last time, Haku decides to stay behind to fight Omega 1 hand to hand. I'm sure it'll go well. You know what? I think he's gonna survive this. Or not. This is why you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. With only 2 survivors remaining, we cut to Easter Island? Man, I hope there's a tiki bar around here somewhere. Jimmy Buffett is probably playing here later. God, I hate Jimmy Buffett. With nowhere left to run, Reb and Dr. Lady head to the set of Zombie 4 After Death. It's too bad the guys in that movie already looted the chest of machine guns. With precious little time before Jeff Stryker shows up, our survivors need to lure Omega-1 into the hospital so that they can burn him up. Unfortunately, it looks like this building is already on fire. But before we get to the exciting climax, let's slow things down for some exposition from radio station KPLOT. The big twist? Omega-1 is actually a RoboCop ripoff, and the brain in there belongs to Reb's buddy from Nam.
Omega-1 is your friend.
Omega-1 then breaches the perimeter and gives Reb a taste of his pimp hand. It's a real rumble in the jungle. Manborg versus moron. And just as Reb is about to pass out, he calls Omega-1 by his real name.
Martin Woodring.
Martin Woodring? That was the best name they could come up with? I mean, Cyrus Borg was just sitting there ripe for the picking. Then this happens. Did Reb Brown just scream so loud it shot Marty across the room? Because that's what it looks like. But Marty Omega-1 isn't so easily defeated. He gives Reb another taste of his pimp hand. Seconds before Reb gets dead, Dr. Lady gives Omega some acid. What a trip. And this shorts him out? So the key to defeating this thing was to just spritz him with water, apparently. Anyway, things then get lit as Crud Bone Meal blows up the hospital. The roof is on fire, as is the rest of the structure. Then Reb says the sweetest words I've ever heard.
It's over.
But if you guessed Martin Woodring is still alive, give yourself a screenwriter's credit. Reb sends the doctor out to the rescue boat and heads back to the jungle to rip off more Predator. I love the fact that they filmed Omega-1 stumbling because he can't see out of the visor. Knowing he's not going to make it out alive, Omega hands Rip Steakface the detonator. Nice, now he can blow up Nakatomi Tower. After some more fantastic acting,
If I live, it'll be worse, much worse, so please do it.
Reb pushes that button. And as the countdown nears the end, Reb's stunt double jumps off the cliff into the water below. Say what you will, but this is an explosive ending. The real tragedy here is that this boat's about to be devoured by the devilfish. And that's it for Robo-War. Wait, Reb's name was Marfy? That has to be a typo, right? And the leading lady was Virgin. I also admire the fact that Mattei even ripped off Predator's end credits. So, what have we learned? Robo-War teaches us that Mattei, Fragasso, and Drudi could even make Predator boring. Color me impressed. Robo-War is pretty much indicative of the unholy trinity's overall body of work. Dumb, derivative to the point of plagiarism, and yet oddly endearing in its absolute ineptitude. Cruel Jaws is arguably still the pinnacle of Mattei's ripoffs, but Robo-War is fun if you enjoy the how did they not get sued for making this low-budget Italian knockoffs. But enough about that. Can Robo-War blast its way to a 5 barf bag rating? Let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, Robo-War comes up short. We get a bunch of steaming skeletons and a severed arm, but the gore is mostly implied, with many of the kills taking place off screen. Because of that, I can't give Robo-War more than a single barf bag rating. This is not a sick flick, but it's hilariously entertaining. Looking for a gorier movie shot in many of the exact same locations? Then be sure to check out my review of Zombie 4. You'll find a link here on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.